What's that?
Danger. Warning. It's closed off.
Yeah, this looks like the right one to go on to me. As you can probably tell by puddles in the road, we had thunderstorms here last night in the desert. That helped keep down the 100 plus temps that we've been having here around Moab, Utah. It's late July and probably the hottest time of the year. We're about 30 miles or so south of Moab, kind of in the middle of nowhere, while looking for another abandoned uranium mine. This time it's called the Vida mine, which in Spanish means my life. In 1952, a man, Charles Steen, discovered the motherlode of uranium ore there. Then within a few months he began digging in the earth and extracting the ore. He named the Vida because the search for uranium had been all about his life. Vida, my life. This is some creepy stuff down here.
Yeah, it is. Well, there's a danger sign going up
Yeah.
that way.
As it turns out, Charles Steen was a very important guy in the history of uranium mining during the Cold War era. The U.S. government needed all the uranium it could get to stay ahead in the atomic arms race with the Soviet Union. I had never heard of the Vida mine until one day I was waiting for my truck to be serviced. I was thumbing through a four-wheel drive truck magazine, and I came across a picture of a truck sitting in front of an old mine entrance, and it was identified as the Vida, abandoned uranium mine. The magazine had tested out the truck in the area, but they didn't give any info about the location. Anyway, I soon began searching for info on the mine. First thing I did, of course, was check Google Earth, but it didn't even show up. So I found a couple of internet mining sites and found it, but the location there was not exact. The sites even said info and location may not be accurate. Anyway, it did involve some detective work on my part. There are definitely some hills have eyes vibes about right here.
Looks like somebody had a rough time on that spot.
I think it washed out and somebody filled it in. You can see the old power poles on both sides of the road, but there's no electricity flowing there anymore. Oh, and by the way, sorry about the dirty windshield. The desert dust and a little bit of rain here and there really does take its toll. Coming up on the right is what's left of the Big Buck and the Standard Mine. I did a YouTube video about those too if you want to check that out. And up on the left is the one we're looking for, the Vida. You can tell by the big gray rock pile and that brown structure right there.
Whoa.
There it is. That's it.
Now to get to it.
Well, we can't get down through that gully there.
I might see a path over there, but I don't know where you get to the path. Some more
Headed out down here to the mine. Looks like about a half-mile walk. We probably could have driven down here, but that little steep hill with that loose gravel could have been a problem. I may not have been able to get traction on there, even with the four-wheel drive. Anyway, I didn't want to take a chance on getting stranded in the middle of nowhere. Charles Steen was an oil geologist from Texas, and instead of prospecting for uranium on the surface using a Geiger counter, he used oil search methods of drilling down and taking drilling cores, and it worked very well for him. He discovered a very rich lode of pitchblende, which is a blackish mineral with a high uranium oxide content. He was looking for the yellowish colored ore called carnotite, and he didn't realize what he discovered until 3 days later. After throwing the black cores in his Jeep thinking they were worthless, a friend checked them with a Geiger counter and the reading went off the scale. And as they say, the rest is history. I've seen some photos taken inside the mine. There's a large dirt pile blocking access to the interior of the mine, and there's a small opening at the top of this pile, where back in 2012 a group of 4 mine explorers slid down through the opening and explored the interior. They took a lot of photos down there, and I'll put them on the internet and put a link to them so that you can take a look at them. I'll put the link in the description. They're truly incredible photos. It's just huge down inside that mine. I don't know what kind of tracks these are.
Moose track.
You think it's moose, huh?
Yep, I think it's moose.
Here we are at the portal, and what a classic look it has. This is actually the number 2 entrance to the mine. The original was a vertical shaft drilled straight down, but I don't know exactly what the location of it was in relation to this one. Sometimes when you're researching something like this, you find a lot of pieces of info that give you a little information, but they are incomplete and it's hard to connect. It's a creepy sight. You feel that air coming in, that cool.
Yeah.
It's not really too dark. In this zoomed in view, you can see the little opening where the explorers went in. They slid right through that little opening.
Party up there.
It rained last night. Look at that water standing.
Yeah, look at those empty shells.
Yeah. So now we'll just take a little walk around and see what's what. You might say this is an electric train, or at least it's a locomotive, an electric locomotive pulling mine carts. That arm you see sticking up on the left front corner would be the contact arm for the electricity from the overhead power line that used to be here. Brown Equipment Builders, Middlesboro, Kentucky. United Exploration. Brown No, it says UTEX Exploration. UTEX. Combine Utah and Texas and you get UTEX. This was Steen's corporation. Wow. Sanford Day, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Number 12.
Oh, you can see the rails over here. We'll just follow the rails at this point. More hoofed animal tracks right down between the rails. We're coming up on the ore bin. Seems like maybe the carts roll over the bin, then the bottoms open and empty one at a time. There are photos of trucks coming into Moab loaded with ore, so at some point they transferred this to trucks. I'm just going up right here, up this little hill to bypass the dump bin so I can follow the tracks to see where they go. A good view of the power poles for the electric engine to draw its power. This whole valley is known as the Lisbon Valley Big Indian Wash Mining District. That gray rock way across the road is where the Big Buck Mine used to be. There were mines all along this area back in the uranium boom times, the 1950s till around the 1980s. At some point, the government got all the uranium it needed, and the boom was over. It must have been quite a sight then, looking out over these hills, seeing trucks coming and going, noisy equipment running, men scurrying around. Now it's just quiet. The desert is back in charge of this outdoor museum of leftover artifacts of another time. So this mine ran from 1952 to 1964 when it was sold to the Atlas Mineral Corporation along with the uranium mill in Moab, which Steen opened in 1955. The uranium reduction mill continued to operate until the 80s, but the history was a little unclear as to how long the Vida continued to operate, maybe also into the 80s. seems that we've reached the end of the line.
It's like a walking rail.
Something caught my eye over here. Shotgun shells.
.12 gauge. Shell casing. .9mm Luger. Okay.
Seems like some shooters have been around in the area. I wonder why we didn't notice these earlier when we came by. Maybe the sunlight hit it a certain way.
Another one.
300 Weatherby Magnum. Now I will attempt to go up on top of the mine entrance to see what's up there. This is called a Mormon tea bush. You can actually make a pretty good tasting tea from it. We made a video on that, but I haven't put it on YouTube yet. But stay tuned. The elevation along this whole valley is around 6,600 feet. When you aren't used to it, you notice it when you climb up a hill. Whoa, now that's a long way down. I didn't realize I had come so high. It's a great view of the overall layout though. I'm not sure what this is. It could have been a power pole, but why would it be sawed off like this? It does seem to have some sort of metal grounding straps to the ground. I just don't know.
Okay, now's the fun part.
And here we have a Cold War era government issue Geiger counter, the well-known Victorine CDV 700. Its limitation is it only reads up to 30,000 counts per minute. It's a good old analog device. It has 3 scales, ones, tens, and hundreds.
175 times 10. Okay, I'm gonna walk this way. I'll just call it that. About 250 times 10.
Now I'm on the outside and I'll walk around the carts and all the way back into the mine.
Okay, we're gonna start here and walk up close to the mine and see what happens.
Wow, now that seems strange. A hummingbird at the entrance to an abandoned uranium mine. I wonder if his nest could be in the mine. It seems to be bigger than your average hummingbird. Surely not an atomic mutation. No, that's only in the movies, right? One more last look around before we head back. Hope you enjoyed this little visit to the high desert and a relic of the uranium boom of the Cold War era. In the world of abandoned uranium mines, the Vida is known to be a pretty highly radioactive one, and it produces high amounts of radon. You wouldn't want to live here at the mine, but the small amount of radiation you would get here on an average visit is well within the safe range of the exposure tables. Radon is a product of uranium decay and is found almost everywhere. Small amounts of uranium are in many types of rocks, such as granite, for example. It can seep up from the floor where you live, in a crawl space or a basement. The EPA has set what are safe limits, and this mine is certainly higher than your average home, but not to worry, no one lives here. Radon is such a big subject. I have a couple of ideas for some radon experiments that I'm thinking of for another YouTube video, so stay tuned for that. Well, we're almost to the end of the trail. If you like this video and other videos of exploring the unusual and the offbeat, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. This gives me incentive to make more. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one.